go black and blue. Please give it up for Walter Jones and David Yost, everybody. If you guys have questions, just line up here to ask both Walter and David.
What's up, you guys? How you doing?
Well, first off, I want to say thank you so much, guys, for all the great work. And Billy, David, I'm sure it happens.
Billy.
Yeah, you gave me inspiration personally because when I first watched Power Rangers, I always thought it was weird yet amazing that those cool kids hung out with a nerd. That was awesome to me. You gave me hope that I could have friends someday. It might happen soon, I don't know when. But what was it? Were you an actual nerd? Was this something you had to research by pretending to be lonely all the time? What was it like playing a nerd?
Well, it was a lot of fun playing a nerd. I wasn't a nerd. I wasn't intellectual like my character. I was
never mind.
Sorry. I was a very average C student. You know, Billy obviously was genius level. So I had to study my lines really hard and look words up in the dictionary just so I could say them and know what I was saying. So it was educational for me. So maybe by playing Billy, I became more of a nerd.
Man, awesome. And Walter, how was the salsa class today?
It didn't happen.
Okay.
Next subject.
Sorry.
Well, they really have to know how to move. So it's always like real strong, forceful movements. Especially, he wasn't speaking to you, was he? He wasn't talking. Really? Well, then he should obviously like memorize words like prodigious, affirmative, a fully sentient multifunctional automaton, and speak to you and things like that. You're welcome.
How fun was it to punch putties? Because that looks awesome.
It was a lot of fun to punch putties. In the beginning, we'd have to punch putties in the head, and then that became a problem. So they had to redo it so that we only punched them in the chest or kick legs and there were no head hits. But back in the day, it was kind of fun to throw a kick to a head.
So there was a practical reason why they were given targets later on. I was always wondering why.
We didn't want to inspire the kids to kick each other in the head, so we had to change it up a little bit.
No, I mean, when I went into this, I just thought, oh, this is going to be a great acting job. I had no idea that the show would take off and be as successful as it was. And then just over the years to see the impact that we've had on so many people's lives has been amazing. Obviously I'm very honored to have played Billy and to have the fans that Billy has because, you know, I can relate to them in some ways in my own personal struggles with my life. So I'm really grateful and humbled to have played Billy.
It actually, it took me a minute to kind of come to the conclusion that I was actually the first live action teenage superhero. So I was like, wow, okay, this is it's actually a huge honor to be, especially in African-American culture, to be seen as one of the first black superheroes or first black live action superheroes. I'm just very grateful. I'm grateful to have the privilege to be that person, to be a role model and a positive aspect of anybody else in life.
Thank you, guys. How did Billy have an effect on my life?
Yeah,
He encouraged me to be smarter. I went back to school, I got a master's degree. I just learned a lot by playing Billy. So.
What did you get a master's degree in?
It's something called consciousness studies, so it's like psychology, science, religion, and philosophy all combined together.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Walter, I got one question. Do you still got the moves?
Man, you know I got the moves. What are you talking about?
Can we see a little something, something? Yeah. A little hip hop keto?
I have not. I was even on, when we started the show, it was like 20 years, we had already been doing Rangers for 20 years in Japan. So I think the popularity of our show didn't happen till later, and by the time I was off the show, I mean, that probably would have been the time that I would have met anybody. I mean, if they would have come to the States or we would have gone there, but it just never happened.
Yeah, and I never met the person that played the Blue Ranger from that. So. Yeah, for me, they had an open casting call, and in something called Backstage West, which is like an audition thing that they put out in Hollywood, and so I saw an open casting call for the show, and I went, and I originally read for the role of Jason, and I auditioned for Jason the Red Ranger like for 3 times, and I knew it wasn't going to go in my favor, so I asked if I could read for Billy, and they let me read for Billy, and then I had 5 more auditions as Billy, so that's how I got it.
Wow, that's a lot of auditions.
What was the difference between the 4th and 5th audition? You're like, now hold the lance.
It's just whittling down. I think like the first audition, there was like 5,000 people that probably auditioned, and they just kept, whittling people away, and then we had an audition where we just did physical stuff, and then it was more about the acting, and then putting all the actors, creating the cast. So it was pretty intense.
I got a call from my agent, and they said, hey, there's this kid show called Power Rangers, and they mighty morphin Power Rangers. And I was like, what's a morphin? And they said, well, superhero. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to audition because I was out of town. I was flying to Florida to go to Star Search. And so I thought I missed it. And then I came back into town about 4 or 5 days later, and they called me again and said they still want to see you. So I went in and I auditioned, and then like David, I also went through the process of having an audition and then call back, producers, executives, and then finally network before we were finished.
Awesome. What did you do in Star Search?
I was actually on Star Search twice within a month. I was there as a singer, as a lead vocalist, and then I was also there as a dancer in the dance group.
Triple threat, man. That's awesome. Yeah.
I think being a role model and kind of having our show preach those kinds of issues, that it made me want to continue with that. Like I didn't want to get into any trouble or I didn't want to show myself in a public light not having those same virtues. So, yeah, I think it did to be instilled in me as well.
Sure, I mean, it definitely, because I was in my early 20s and I wasn't really thinking about morals and things like that, so being on a show that really started putting that out there, kind of like Walter too, I started trying to clean up my acting a little bit.
What was the most inspiring moment that you had, with a fan where you were like, it was worth it to be a Power Ranger, this is awesome?
Well, I just got to take my picture with a woman in the bathroom as she was cleaning the bathroom at all the guys' urinals. So that's always fun. I get recognized. She's
the real hero of this con, by the way.
She is, yes. So it's just weird where I get recognized. But she's like, can I take a picture with you? And I was like, okay. It's a little weird.
You gotta imagine all those people peeing in costumes. That is a messy urinal.
I don't want to think about that. I gotta say, probably one of the most inspiring things that I've had that made me appreciate the celebrity we've had with Power Rangers is we did an appearance for Make-A-Wish Foundation at the hospital. And Make-A-Wish Foundation is a charity that goes to benefit children that are terminally ill. So we've gone to a hospital and they're like cancer patients and burn victims and kids that were really, really sick. I mean, really young kids. And there was one girl in particular that stays in mind. She was a cancer victim, and she had lost all her hair, and she was going through a lot of radiation. And they told us, this girl, she hasn't smiled in like 3 months, and she's in this room, and you can't even go in there because there's, she's all the radiation. So we're gonna have to peek through this window, and you can wave to her or whatever. the window and she would smile. Oh my God, that made me so happy to be able to give that little girl. That's what I mean, like it's been such an
That's
amazing,
fantastic.
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that's the best gift to just be able to just do something that you would want to do for somebody anyway and to have it really make a difference.
Like legitimately.
How am I working? I'm open to it. I haven't been asked yet, but I definitely would be open to it.
Yeah, they talk to me, they're not invited. Now we're all going to be there. I mean, as far as Power Morphicon is kind of our con, so everybody, all the Rangers are always invited, and if you guys can come, we'll be there. Okay, that's an interesting question. No. I think the fact that I'm a Power Ranger only heightens the fact that I am also a singer, dancer, entertainer. It's just an extra value to who I am.
First of all, Walter, I wanted to ask, in the early season, the very first one, you the first Ranger to lead the series, would you have wanted to be in the movie, or at least have like some reminder that, you know, the old Rangers, Mastodons and everything were there?
Actually, it was three of us that left. It was myself and T-Tran and Jason. We played Jason, and yeah, I think we all wanted to do the movie. We all wanted to be part of the movie. The reason we didn't do the movie is because it was contractual. We've been doing the show for 80 episodes. It was a non-union show. Sabana made $1 billion in a year, and it was a non-union show, which is not really fair to actors. And so we didn't want to leave the show. We just hoped that we would make the show union. And in the process of the negotiation, it ended that the best result for us all was to part ways. Because now, in terms of this negative thing, it was weird. We separated the hired actors, and you know, it was just kind of ugly.
But it wasn't on bad terms, right?
Bad terms, meaning legal negotiations are not great.
And David, one question for you. From Mighty Morphin to the movie, do you like Triceratops or your Wolf Sword better?
Well, I mean, they both have special value to me. I mean, the Triceratops will probably always be my favorite, but the Wolf Sword was really cool. Don't get me wrong. So I can't give you a real opinion on that.
I would be so down to be in a movie with all the Rangers, or a TV show with all the former Rangers, but I'm a union actor, so it would need to be a union contract.
Agreed.
David, I have a question. The student from the show, how did it feel when you did that?
Yeah, I mean, the suits for the movie were obviously much more prosthetic, had muscles. They actually were really heavy. Latexy, okay. And they were heavy, like mine weighed about 40 pounds. So it's, you know, it's hard to kind of move around in that stuff. And to wear that all day, like for 12 hours, that 40 pounds just kind of pulled you down. You know, I feel bad for women that are always carrying their children around. I kind of get it now. So, yeah, I mean, but they looked amazing. I love the movie suits. They were really awesome.
What does your friends and family think of you guys being on the show?
Well, my family, they're all very excited about me being, you know, a Rodano and a superhero, and just like anybody else, my friends and family, everybody's very proud. And I think in the very beginning, everybody thought I was a little weird. I was like, so you're doing what? And after watching the pilot, they were like, that's great, Walt. Yeah, good job.
But once it became a phenomenon.
Once it was a phenomenon, it changed everything. Everybody's very excited about it.
What is your favorite line ever when you had to voice act? What's your favorite line?
What is it, Zordon?
Wow. now this is just, I can't say it's my favorite, but this is what's coming to mind. Zach here, I'm ready to rock.
Awesome. Can I get a bro fist?
Well, I mean, my family, obviously, that was the first part of your question, right? If my family supported me. So, yeah, I mean, they obviously want me to succeed at whatever I do. My dad was an artist for a long time, and then he got into the corporate world, so I kind of come from a creative background, and I think they probably had a little, I don't know if trepidation is the right word, but trepidation, about me going into a creative field. But I've done okay for myself, so they're very proud and happy that I've done that. And then the second part of your question was, the second part is, if there's anything I wouldn't do as an actor. I guess as I get older, and hopefully the crowd won't turn on me, but you know, I get more and more alarmed at the shooting and the killing and the blood and the exploding. I mean, it bothers me that we put so much violence out there for children, and when you see what's really going on in society, I think we need to sort of pull that back again. So, I mean, I try to work on things. All the shows that I produce or that I try to work on, I try to make sure that it's comedy. Just so I try to stay away from that kind of stuff.
What's the proudest thing that you produced?
Well, probably the last few shows that I've worked on have been the most fun. They air on Adult Swim on Cartoon Network, so NTSF SDSUB is one of them. Newsreaders and Children's Hospital. So those are
fantastic shows.
My family, they're very proud of me. As far as I think in the very beginning, they were kind of they had their things. They were like, well, you know, acting is a very difficult field, and maybe you want to find something that's a little easier to do or has more security. You know, I mean, when you're graduating from high school, your parents want the best for you, and being an artist is not always an easy road. But I've been fortunate to be working as a professional actor at SAG for 20 years and working as an actor for over 20 years. So at this point, they're quite happy with it. They're like, yeah, he did it. He put his mind to it and he made it happen. So that's great. The second part of your question was, is there anything I wouldn't do as far as acting role is concerned? I'm sure I have my limits. I have never been approached with one that was something I absolutely couldn't do. I mean, acting is imaginary. Acting is living under imaginary circumstances. So for me, I feel like, you know, we live in there's programming for everybody. Not everybody should watch every program, but I don't have an issue with portraying different characters. I've played bad guys, I've played good guys, I've been, you know, murdered by a demon. I've been like, you know, I've fought vampires, I've done all kinds of things, and nothing's been, you know, personally bad for me. I can say this though, if it was a character that I have moral issues with, something that I wouldn't want to advertise in a positive light, then I would have a problem with that. I mean, I'm not gonna pump something up that I'm absolutely against.
I don't want to say it because you'll make me do it, but people always want me to do my morph call.
I think the most obnoxious question that I get asked is, did I sleep with the other Rangers? And no, I did.
He's lying.
That would have been so great when you said that if he sat down. He's like, that's what I was going to ask.
Hey, again, I just want to know, did they ever give you lines when you're like, this is too cheesy, I can't read this? Because I was watching it again, and I was like, when I was a kid, it's like, everything made sense. I was like, yeah, that's serious. I was watching it again, I was like,
Yeah, I think there were occasions where we changed a line or two, or say, my character would say that, or, you know, like something was written, and we're like, no, I'm not gonna say. I mean, I think for Zach, I had to be hip, so I wasn't gonna say something that was completely different, you know, or something that my character wouldn't say. So, or I would switch it up. It might be written a certain way, and I would say it in a hipper way or something. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was a lot of cheesy lines, but I just kind of went with it. So, but there was definitely times where I would change things just to make it sound like Billy was more human when he was speaking.
Thank you very much.
Well, I enjoyed them both, but I thought like where Billy went in Zio was a natural progression for him. I mean, I wasn't totally thrown aback by it, but yeah, it's always cooler to be a ranger. I mean, it's a lot more fun. You get to be active and fighting and all that, but I enjoyed just being a technical genius in the command center. That was great too.
It's amazing. If Billy was almost ahead of it, if Billy was around now, he would have created Facebook. You know, he's basically Mark Zuckerberg with powers.
He would have been beyond that.
Yeah.
I mean,
where do you see Billy being? Yeah.
I mean, he's on a foreign planet now, so I mean, the fact that he created a car that flew, he created communicators that teleported people. I mean, this guy is out of control.
Where would Zach be now?
Zach would probably be married to Angela. Now, I don't know. I would imagine Zach at this point in time might be, I don't know, he might be still a Power Ranger doing his thing.
Awesome.
I played the video game I think one time. And I would have liked to have played it more, but I have an issue because we were never given any of the toys. And I refused to go out and buy the toy, which is kind of stupid at this point, because I'm like, I should buy the toy. But at the time on the show, it was like such a hard thing to get any of the toys. It was like, it was always in the news. You had to wait in line at Toys R Us for 5 hours to get a doll, or 6 hours to get a morpher, or whatever. And it just didn't seem to make sense that since we were popularizing these toys, that we would have to go do the same thing. It seemed to me like the toy company would go, hey, you guys are great, we're making millions of dollars, take the toy, go take it home, have some for your family. But that didn't happen, and because it didn't happen, I didn't buy it. So.
Understood. And I mean, I played the game once, I did play myself, and I enjoyed it. It was great.
Awesome.
I understand that the Black Ranger probably was like in that game had a little advantage because of the power axe, and so
yeah.
I gotta go ahead and get it now. Like, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Guys, give it up one more time for Walter Jones and David Yost.